So, here's something that's been quietly shaping the entire Android flagship scene, and most people don't even think about it much. The chip powering the whole thing. Yeah, I'm talking about the Snapdragon. If you've used a premium Android phone in the last few years, like the Galaxy S25 Ultra, chances are it's been driven by a Snapdragon 8 series chip. They're basically the brains and muscle behind all the top-tier performance we expect. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Qualcomm, the company behind Snapdragon, has been creeping up prices on these chips every year. And surprise, surprise, phones have been getting more expensive right along with them. But there's a twist this year. According to a pretty well-known leaker, Digital Chat Station shot out to the Weibo detectives. Qualcomm might actually not raise the price for its next powerhouse, the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 2. If that's true, that's a big deal. Because this Gen 2 chip is rumored to bring major upgrades in both CPU and GPU performance, like proper generational leap stuff. So you're telling me better performance without another price hike. That's the kind of news we like. Now zooming out a bit, what does this mean for upcoming Android phones? Brands like Xiaomi, Oppo, and Honor have already started poking around at building their own chips, trying to lower their dependence on Qualcomm altogether. It makes sense. With rising tariffs and component costs, they're looking for any edge they can get. But none of them have made a serious breakaway just yet. And then there's Samsung. You know there's always talk about Samsung going all in on its own chips. This time it's the Exynos 2600 that's getting whispered about. Some rumors say Samsung might actually skip Qualcomm's new chip for the Galaxy S26 and just use their in-house silicon across the board. Bold move, if true. But let's be real. Samsung's flirted with this before. Yet year after year, they still mostly stick with Snapdragon for their flagships, at least outside of a few exceptions like the Flip 7, which recently showed up with Exynos inside. Now here's where it gets interesting. If Qualcomm keeps prices steady, that could open the door for phone makers, including Samsung, to invest in other features. Maybe we'll see better screens, bigger batteries, or some serious camera improvements instead of another bump in price. We should get the full rundown on what this new Gen 2 chip is bringing sometime in the fall. That's usually when Qualcomm makes their big announcements. But until then, let me ask you this. Would you rather Samsung keep riding with Snapdragon for reliability, or are you curious to see what Exynos 2600 is capable of this time around? Drop your thoughts below. Appreciate you watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, take care.